awesome.
Awesome.
What How I Met Your Mother fan doesn't like Barney Stinson? Despite being the ultimate womanizer and pulling so many tricks just to spend a night with a woman, he's actually a sweet, kind-hearted guy.
True story.
Sure, it's mainly thanks to Neil Patrick Harris because he made Barney so charming.
Mental self 5.
We first met Barney as a rather shallow guy from a bar. But with time, he changed a lot. Not only did he overcome his fear of commitment, he also solved a mystery about his father.
You lied to me all night for your own selfish reasons? Daddy.
And at one point, even got married, which seemed to be unspeakable for first season Barney.
Have a better tie at home. It's cornflower blue. It's cornflower blue.
No doubt, he is awesome. In fact, even Neil Patrick Harris himself was overwhelmed with his awesome lines.
I don't think you did. You know why? Because deep down... That made me laugh. Sorry.
He really can't be sad for a long time if he can make himself laugh so hard.
I'm awesome.
Yeah, you are. But you know what's great about How I Met Your Mother? It had more than one awesome character.
Lily and Marshall, awesome. Have you met the Awesomes? Marshall, Lily, their son Totally, and their daughter Freakin'?
Oh, Marshall and Lily. They had the most adorable relationship ever. They were there for each other through thick and thin. Well, except for the time when Lily dropped their wedding plans and left for San Francisco to study art. They always supported each other, even when it drove them crazy. But in real life, Jason Segel and Alyson Hannigan were just friends, so we can forgive Jason for having another relationship on the side. Who was it, I hear you ask? Well, his new baby, as Jason put it himself, was constantly looking at him and he just loved flirting with it. And this baby was Camera X. I can't explain, just watch.
I got a new baby. It's called Camera X.
And that wasn't the only time Jason flirted with his baby.
I just had the same thing here.
Did?
I think, can you repeat?
Totally.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's good.
Even though Marshall and Lily's relationship was so wonderful, it wasn't without problems and fights. Viewers didn't see the whole thing because it was shown in glimpses while Ted was researching the place, or as he'd say, the crime scene, to solve the mystery of what happened there. But how did they film the fight scene given that it didn't have any scripted dialogue? Well, they just made Jason Segel and Alyson Hannigan yell random things at each other.
George Washington Carver's rolling over in his grave. He heard a voice from God, and it said, George, separate the peanut into its elements.
But let's get back to Barney for a moment. Barney had a lot of rules he'd always liked to cite to his friends. Often, he'd even teach them how to live.
If you have an onion bagel, you don't need scallion cream cheese. New is always better. Laser tag knows no age restrictions.
Yeah, those are some important life lessons. Among his many lessons in season 6, Barney introduced what he called the mermaid theory.
You see, every woman, no matter how initially repugnant, has a mermaid clock. The time it takes for you to realize you want to bone her.
Or in other words, that's how a manatee turns into a mermaid. One night, Marshall and Robin hung out together and got pretty wasted.
I mean, sure, right now you're bald and leathery and covered in a thick layer of blubber.
Am I blushing or?
At some point, Robin began turning into a mermaid, but quickly turned back into a manatee after throwing up under his feet. This time, forever. This is what it looked like when they filmed this scene.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Your boob popped out.
Am I the only one who thinks Cobie Smulders looks very pretty even when she's wearing a manatee costume? What I'm sure about is that Ted and Barney never saw Robin as a manatee. Speaking of Ted,
or do I have to get my face even closer to yours?
after Josh Radnor, aka Ted, burst out laughing, the scene started to look so cute, right? It's hard to believe that they eventually got a take with a straight face. But was Barney really Ted's best friend? If you ask Ted, he'll always answer that his best friend is Marshall. In fact, the sweetest thing was how they became best friends. Remember how they got stuck in the middle of nowhere during a blizzard and couldn't get out of the car?
Hey, Marshall. Yeah. Are you still thinking about Lily? Yeah. Please stop.
Yeah, these two were the best friends ever. It even got to the point where Ted wanted to be involved in everything about Marshall and Lily's lives. Even when Lily got pregnant, he was still everywhere. He wanted to go to the doctor with them and even call their baby our baby.
Just a little bit.
Of course, some people might say that he overstepped majorly, especially when he went to birthing class with Marshall without Lily.
And just breathe each other in.
On the other hand, they could have left that blooper and used it in the show. Wouldn't it be some good improvisation?
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
But in How I Met Your Mother, actors didn't have any room for improvisation because the show was filmed under strict time limits. Only one scene was an exception. It was the final scene of the 6th season's episode Bad News, where Marshall learned that his dad died. Jason Segel had no idea what news Lily was going to share, so his reaction was unscripted and genuine.
My dad's dead? I'm not ready for this.
My God, it's definitely one of the saddest scenes in the history of sitcoms. But let's not talk about sad things too much and see how another improvised, or should I rather say, accidental scene could have made the show even better.
What's up?
I'm sure that even if they aimed precisely at the spike, they'd never hit it, no matter how hard they tried. So wouldn't it be a good idea to leave this scene as it is in the show? Share in the comments. But let's move on. Remember Ted and Marshall's favorite drink? No, it wasn't beer or coffee. It wasn't even 30-year-old Glenn McKenna. It was Tantrum.
Check it out. I got black coffee on the left. I got Tantrum on the right. Do you have a phone book?
Yes, I do. I don't know why they make phone books anymore. Everything's online, right?
Tantrum! Tantrum!
Let me remind you that Tantrum was a drink with a high caffeine content that Ted and Marshall liked to drink on their road trips. The FDA banned the drink at some point because of its caffeine-related side effects, but Ted and Marshall knew where to buy it in case they needed it. And they even had a joke. When Marshall would throw a bottle of Tantrum to Ted, Ted would say to him, "Marshall, you're a grown man. Why are you throwing a tantrum?" Perhaps that's what he had to say in this blooper.
Well, you know what? That's not what I'm here for. I'm not your piggy bank, Lily Aldrin. I'm not here to get you everything you need emotionally, spiritually.
Yeah, Marshall, stop throwing a tantrum and drink some mint tea instead. You're not even on a road trip. You know who was never on a road trip with Ted and Marshall? Barney. We all remember Barney as an ultimate manipulator. He didn't only trick women to get what he wanted, but he also manipulated his friends a number of times. Remember how he'd sneeze every time Marshall mentioned Shinjitsu, a Japanese cuisine restaurant he loved?
Let's go to Shinjitsu. Bless you.
Barney created such a strong connection that Marshall would want to go there every time Barney sneezed.
You forged the association in my brain.
So what should we do for dinner?
Let's go to Shinjitsu.
Oh, bless you.
And he certainly did his best to make use of his trick. But it didn't work. Now, watching the next set of bloopers, can you think of something else other than Marshall trying to make a psychological connection between sneezing and something else?
Me too.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Neil. I tried.
Every morning at 4 a.m.
Sorry. I tried so hard.
And stand by to sneeze.
Yes.
The only question is, what exactly was he trying to do? Maybe he was trying to condition someone on set, someone superior to him. Like Pam Fryman, for example. She was one of the directors and executive producers of How I Met Your Mother. In the first and final seasons of the show, she directed every single episode. It's funny that in many gag reels, she features as the person who scolds the actors for messing up the scenes, and sometimes it seems like the actors are even afraid of her. The most hilarious example of her scolding them is seen in this blooper.
Pam Prime is coming in to scold you.
I really wasn't trying to do anything bad.
It was his fault.
I really wasn't trying to do anything bad.
No, I know you weren't, and I think that was genius.
Jason would definitely not do that again. Did you have a good laugh? And do you miss How I Met Your Mother as much as we do? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and stay awesome. Thanks for watching.